what's going on, everyone? It's your boy Freeze coming to you once again from the Deceptor Lab for your con highlight of the week. And this week, we are going to be taking a look at Ramhorn. So I actually got this one as an idea from my Discord admin and my oldest son, Kazi. He wanted to take a look at the bot, see a couple of different ways to look at him, and I didn't have him. I only have him in a 3-star. I hadn't really used him like that, so I actually pulled him up on my playtest server and requested him. Got him so I could play around with him. A little bit, and honestly, I really enjoyed it. So we'll head to the battlefield here in a little bit, and look at Ramhorn a little bit and see all the good, bad, that comes with him. But first, I am going to go into my shoutouts. So let me pull up my list. All right. So first off, hey, thanks to everyone for all of the support. I was doing my Shattered Glass Thundercracker videos. The last one, I wound up having a busy weekend. I had those 2 videos, and then I also had the special guest appearance with Walt Millsy. So it was a busy week last week, but it was fun. It was all fun, and so thanks to everyone who reached out to me about that. I had a couple of people that were really interested in checking out my content for that. So let me go through my list. I got some new subscribers. So I got Victory Star Saber as a new subscriber, and he's actually really huge, really active on Walt Millsy's. So when he saw us get the chatting on that on the podcast last week, then he joined my channel as well. So thanks for that, bud, and thanks for a lot of the feedback during Walt Millsy's stream. It was a real fun time last Friday. Hopefully get to do that again sometime. Let's see. I also got Mr. Andrew Lim 09, new subscriber. Skunkster 42, Ravage 22. Some of those guys, some of my teammates over in Darkness family. So thanks you guys for joining. I also got a lot of feedback from my Snapdragon con highlight of the week, and so for that, the most feedback I got from Deathstroke. Gave me a lot of good fun tips to use on him, and he actually, some of them I shared on my Discord server, just because he had a lot of good information with the Megatronus core and just different tactics that he used. So yeah, man, like Deathstroke, thanks for all the advice. And I always tell everybody, and that's why I love for people to come join my Discord server, because I'll tell anybody, I say I don't know everything. I played the game for a little bit, but there's always folks out there who have certain bots and have more experience with certain bots than I have. They can always give me information, and if you give me that information, I'll share it. I'll share it on the channel. I'll share it on the Discord server. So I'm really appreciative of that. And then also, shout out to the Dark Overlords family. Those guys, we are pretty good. Most of us are pretty good friends and everything. Steve-O, J-Funk, those guys were really receptive to my last video with the Shattered Glass Thundercracker video. And they actually we got to chat a little bit. I think it was Friday night. Yeah, Friday night, I think it was. Just got to chat with those guys a little bit and just discuss the new bot. So, yeah, I was really grateful for that opportunity as well. So thanks, guys. All right, so let's go into the battlefield. Let me pull up my game real quick because I do not believe that it is loaded. And just give me a moment to get that straightened out, because I forgot to start mirroring here. While I'm doing that, that now they finally have a lot of details out about the leaderboard event. I actually shared some of those on my Discord server this morning. So at this point, man, if you actually want to go through for that Shattered Glass Thundercracker, the information is out there. You can go on the Space 8 Discord. You can go on my Discord Either or, you should be able to see all that information up there and make that decision as to whether you want to participate or not. Like I said on my Shattered Glass Shockwave video, I'm not going to necessarily go that far. I'm going to go past the 1 million point, free to play mark, but I'm still going to push a little bit harder than normal. But like I said, it is a pretty good bot. So if you're interested in that, there's a lot of different places out there recruiting for that right now. All right, so let's see. Let's check out the battlefield. All right, right now we're still loading up. All right, so today we're going to be talking about Ramhorn, and once we get everything up on the screen, we will go to his tooltip, talk about his abilities a little bit. So while I'm doing that, so if you hadn't gotten any experience with this bot, Ramhorn is one of the Tripredacus Council members, and so like I said, I requested him just so I could run this video. And where do I have him? There he is. All right, so for the tooltip, for his special ability, Acid Splurge. So right now I got him. I requested him at level 51, ability 7, and so the tooltip for that says you heal yourself and increase your max health. In this case, is for 2,699. So yeah, you get a health boost for the rest of the battle, and you also have some self healing that takes place. For 15 seconds, you surround yourself in acid, and it causes 116 damage per second. It's an AOE attack, so in the area around you, and 5 times more damage to walls. So for me, when I first read that, I didn't think that it was I wasn't going to say I didn't think it was a great ability. I wasn't really sure how to use it, and so I tried to use it a couple of different ways. So one thing I always like to look at is when you upgrade, what do you get? So you get a little bit of the health shield increase. That goes up higher as you go along, and the damage also goes up a little bit higher as you go along. Now, one thing that I've noticed over, especially since I've been play testing and everything, and I talk to more players, a lot of times when we start talking about damage to walls, that's often a time where folks don't necessarily like those kind of abilities, but I think that most people kind of like I think when you go look at AoE damage, that's pretty good. And then I think when you look at wall busting, I like wall busting. I tell everyone all the time, like, they wall bust their cores, not to get rid of them. I mean, unless you get a whole bunch of them, and they do hand out a bunch of these wall busting cores. So I'm gonna tell you automatically, whenever I see that you have additional damage towards walls, then that's when I want to capitalize on that. So I already had a maxed out wallbuster core, so I'm gonna go ahead and put that on Ramhorn, because I think that's one of the advantages to Ramhorn, is that wall busting. Another advantage I see to him, when you look at that special ability, so there's gonna be the health boost, and it's also gonna be that acid damage. Like I said, that AOE. So all of those things are really, really useful. What I am looking at now is his damage. So at this level, I got him at 320.3, and what you'll see is the health is really, really low, right? It's 8,868 at this level 51. And I was talking to some players the other day. I was talking to one of my buddies, and he was just like, man, I just can't deal with that health. That health is just so low. But that's his special ability, and his special ability, honestly, is pretty easy to manage. So what I'm going to do is I'll go into a base trial real quick, and during that base trial, I'll run him by himself for a little bit, just so you can see what his ability looks like. If you're not familiar, I said a lot of you guys are probably already familiar but I just like to just kind of highlight the abilities by themselves whenever I start talking about a con highlight. Alright, so we're going to deploy Ramhorn on that left side. And see, here's the thing. When you deploy him and you target, like I'm going to target that Energon storage, and it kind of moves up a little bit, and instantly you can see that there is a little bit of a health boost. Now in this case, like I said, I put him in a position where I'm just running him by itself against a really, really powerful bot. I've got Sentius Malice down there on the bottom there, so it takes him out pretty easily. So this is the concern when I was talking with my buddy about the health part, what he was frustrated with, right? So this is one of the things that I will put kind of, if I'm looking at my list of disadvantages, this is one of the things that I look at as kind of a disadvantage, that is low health. So all that tells me is that you need a good supporting cast for this bot. So if, like, when you look at, and you know, this is like a variation of my war team, and if you've seen my war team video, you know, you realize you can already see some of the replacements that I made. But what I like to do is keep some pretty tanky bots up front. So it might be my special class like Malice and Impactor, and then even Tantrum, and then you drop Ramhorn in behind them, let the other guys take up all the damage. And what's awesome about this is if you can target something that is on the opposite side of the wall, then by default you're going to start adding that additional damage to the wall. And even then, if you want to keep health up, you can drop your healer in there behind them, and the wall comes down pretty easy. I got mine's maxed out on my base. So it's really about managing his health, because now he's attacking these you know, now it kind of takes him out because, you know, he does have low health. But what I did is I got up there to that next layer and got to the auto cannon, and then the auto cannon, that acid damage starts to add that additional damage to those walls. So I see a lot of advantages to his special ability. But, like, you know, the health thing is a concern, so you got to make sure that you have a good supporting cast with him. So as far as that goes, the other disadvantage that I see for him, you know, obviously with him, you know, Tripredicus and all the Tripredicus Council bots being relatively new bots, it's not a 5-star yet. And so if you want to go in there and invest in him, one of the things that you got to look at is, well, how much investing do you want to do in a 4-star bot? I will say that I do feel, and if you've been watching my content for a while, one of the things that you've heard me say is that walls are going to become more important, right? I've been saying that for a little bit. This is the kind of stuff that I'm talking about. Now, if you go into the Prime Zone and you go click on the little icon to go see what kind of effects they're adding, that second effect that they have up there, 50% extra health for walls, right? So that's one thing that you want to look at. The other thing that I've been saying for a while, and I'm on the test server right now, so you'll have to excuse how my Titan looks, just because, you know, some of the stuff that we have, I still got to get him fixed. I got to put in a trouble ticket for that. But one of the things that you always look at is the Titan tech tree. And so for that, in the defense perks, I believe it is, we're now at the point where wall health shows up in your tier 5, and which obviously most people are past that point, but in tier 5 you have additional wall health that you can add. You know, it starts off at 2% and continues to grow. So there's plenty of opportunities now to make walls very, very dominant. And I will say this, when I see something like what I saw in that Prime Zone, when I see something like that, it makes me inclined to believe that there might be an opportunity later on for a war effect or something like that. That means, to me, that always tells me that the gears are already turning in somebody's head to try to do something like that. Right now, not 100% on what the war effect changes are going to be, but I have noticed a pattern that once we get those gears turning, and we've already heard some other content creators that are huge advocates for building extra walls. I'm an advocate for having stronger walls as well. So these are the kind of bots that I think become more useful. Like I had a player the other day that pulled Straxus, and it started a conversation with some of my buddies about, well, if you pulled the 5-star Straxus, and we started looking at, well, just how far can you push this guy all the way, and I tested him out. I pushed him all the way up to ability 11 just to see how far did I have to push him to be able to damage maxed out walls. And then I also, as an additional precaution, went into Prime Zone with the 50% extra health, and the damage was actually pretty good. But I said I had to pretty much max Straxus out. So I'm going to start advocating for more wall busters as we make walls more dominant again, but it might take some time. Alright, so now I'm just going to kind of look at what we need to do to get the best out of this bot. So already you can see that I used the wall buster core. I'm going to go into zone 13 in here. It's going to be a little lopsided only because on my test server, if you've seen me play up here before, you know that the opposing team is not going to have a Titan. I mean, and I'm in zone 13 right now anyway, because I'm going to try to see if I have any opportunities to solo here. So I'm actually going to put him on the opposite side of the Titan, so I don't want the Titan to do all of the work for him. But notice, I'm going to let him take a little bit of damage, because what I like to do is come in and you notice that there's an increase there when he goes to use a special ability. Alright, and he's out of there pretty quickly. So I'm going to try something again. So yeah, you can definitely use the wall busting. The wall busting does work. So when I look at power cores, so wall busting is one that you can use and try to get, and you saw that example earlier. So now I'm going to try something else, because one of the things that I noticed when I was looking at this guy's tooltip is that the key thing that stands out for me is when I look at this and I see 15 seconds, and if you looked at the 15 seconds, he's in his alternate form. So all that tells me is that I got an opportunity here to go use the Amalgamous Prime Core. So I'm gonna try it and see if there is a difference. Obviously, you guys seen my Amalgamous Prime Core before. I typically have it on Sentius Malice, but honestly, man, Ramhorn stays in this alternate form a little bit longer. Since I'm already using it on the 4-star, I'm not averse to using it on another 4-star. Now, if you have 5-star options, because I know a lot of people will go and message me after the fact, and they say, "Why are you encouraging to use that Prime Core on that 4-star?" Look, if you have other options, if you have better options, then by all means use Amalgamous Prime Core on those better options. But if you don't have those options, if you are running around here and you just got this Ramhorn and you don't know what to do with him, this is a good option of a core to put on him. And every time I say Amalgamous Prime Core is a good option, I'm also going to say that Alchemist is a good option. Potentially Onyx could even be a good option. I would consider that to be on the lower end, and with Alchemist being the mid-tier between those 3 Prime Cores. But let's look at it in action, because it is one of those things that I did get to practice with, and it works. So let's try it out. Alright, so in this particular case, I'm gonna go into zone 13 again and see if I'm able to get him to solo it. then after I get done with that, we'll make some combat bot suggestions. Alright, so I'm gonna try him again, going straight solo mode. Now, one of the things I like about him, even though he can do damage to walls, you can essentially get him to walk around the walls also, just by depending on how the base layout is set up. So in this case, they got an open setup for their walls, but you notice, I mean, in his ability, kind of jumped up and down a little bit. I ran into a mine, so that's gonna kind of mess things up a little bit. And yeah, and that took him out. So let's try that one more time. You know, in that particular case, he just happened to run into one of the mines and start getting beat up a little bit. And that's why I like to play around with some of these options, just to see if there's opportunities there for me to make improvements. Like I said, I only played for this bot for like a day, so I got a 2-star vertebrake up there. So I'm gonna actually switch it around. I'm gonna put my 4-star vertebrake on there. And the reason why I like vertebrake is because I like to have every 3 seconds to have that additional damage, because I think that's a good pairing when you're using Amalgamous Prime in a lot of cases, just because it gives you a boost. It gives you a little bit of a boost in damage. So when you're getting that boost in damage, in turn you're going to be getting that boost in health, so that you can continue doing more damage. So yeah, back in zone 13 again. And this is just one of those things, man. When I go use vertebrake, basically what I'm saying is I'm doubling down on area of effect. If I got the wall buster core up there, I'm doubling down on wall busting. These are one of the things that I like to do, just to kind of just add additional damage as I go along. It's the same concept that I use with Malice. It's the same concept that I use with Impactor. So here you get the additional, every 3 seconds, you get that additional boost. The wall comes down, and I don't even have the wall buster core on right now, but because I got that additional AoE, right now he's not losing a terrible amount of health. Now he's starting to, but then once he gets to that point, after those 15 seconds are up, if you can keep him alive for those 15 seconds, you can proceed and do more damage and do more health regen. And honestly, for the level that I got him at, he's not doing too poorly right now. So I'm just going to keep spamming this ability. I'm going to see how long it takes for him to get taken out. Leader 1 pops out, so that's probably going to be an issue. Let me get her out of the way with the death beam. And then right behind him, Star Saber comes out. But you can see I did a lot of damage so far, all things considered. And now I can get him back a little bit of health by using this ability. The other thing that I didn't mention when I was talking about advantages, the cost of his ability is very, very low. It starts off at 4. It's 4 plus 2. So every subsequent time that you use it, it's only costing you 2 more ability points. So you can spam this ability and spam and spam and spam this ability as long as you can keep him alive. So one of the things that I was doing earlier on, later on in the battle, I'll just run and drop a healer in there behind them. And so I got 5-star Reflector back there. And I just get him in here to go add additional health. I got him at ability 11. So realistically, I can use Ramhorn's ability, and then I can go also drop in Reflector's ability. And now I just got healing coming in from multiple sources. I got healing from my 2 minions. I got my direct healing from the viewfinder portion of Reflector. And then he's got his self-healing going. And now you notice that, even though it's just a point defense beam on him right now, now you notice that his health wasn't moving at all. And this is where I see value in the Amalgamous Prime Core. And this is where I see value in the low cost ability of Ramhorn. So I'm not going to show every single combat bot combination, but I will tell you what I used a little bit of in testing. I did test them a little bit with Shattered Glass Ravage, just so you can always constantly have smoke down. That seemed to work pretty well. If you don't have like the vertebrate option when you're focusing on adding more attack power. I also tried Caliburst. I didn't like Caliburst directly on the bot. I didn't like to use Caliburst directly on Ramhorn. What I did instead is I actually said that I was going to use Caliburst on a teammate. And what that does, that allows him, Ramhorn, to go in there and do his AoE damage. And then you can have a teammate. Like for me, I prefer to have a jet or a gunner behind him, somebody at range that can attack the same thing he's attacking and add additional damage using Caliburst ability, since it has that additional attack power with anything that's under fire, anything that's under acid. Alright, and the other thing that I was talking about is I'm actually going to run this as a team, and I'm going to show you before I get out of here what Ramhorn, the advantages of running him all the way together in the team. And I also told you guys that I was going, because since I made the Shattered Glass Thundercracker video, the Space Ape did decide to change them. So let's take a look at some of those changes as well while we're moving along. Alright, so this time I'm going to go in Prime Zone. We'll see how that turns out. But yeah, man, I really liked this bot. It was very, very fun to test. I was glad that recommendation was made to me, so that, because I always like to try out new stuff, and I like to try to push boundaries a little bit. So I was more than willing to do that. And let's pop some OPs. And, you know, I always like to do my little cheap ramjet sack attacks, you know. But like I was saying earlier, one of the things that you really want to focus on, you want to focus in putting somebody up front that can accept, that can take some damage before you get Ramhorn down there. Now, in this particular case, I took my Sentius Malice. I took the Amalgamous core off of him, so now he's losing health relatively quickly, and now he's gone. But while I'm on the screen, I want to go look at that. I actually want to look at the Shattered Glass Thundercracker. So yeah, they made him more powerful, and I probably should have used that against the MDS. Let me go back, because what I want to do is I want to show what happens when you use Shattered Glass Thundercracker against MDS, so you can see the changes. But I also want you to be aware that on my last video I was saying that they were going to do the ability cost is going to be 5 plus 6, and at the time that is what they were going to do, but they did move it back up to 5 plus 7 because that ability did get a little bit of an upgrade. So yeah, I'm trying to go do this on the Prime Zone so we can try to make sure that everything's maxed out. Alright, so we'll go back in the Prime Zone. And right now I'm just kind of demonstrating before I actually go use them all together as a team. But either way, yeah, we're pretty good to go. Alright. So I put Ramjet. This time I put him up the middle. Try to go pop some Combiner and some Outpost. Alright, so I'll drop Impact in here to try to go add a little bit of damage to these outpost bots. I'll just drop the whole team at this point. And I already put a little bit of damage down here on the MDS, but you can see Shattered Glass Thundercracker take that out. And yeah, so now it's going to cost 12 ability points to use Shattered Glass Thundercracker again, so that takes him out of it. But at the same time, I'm going to go ahead and use Ramhorn, try to get some of this wall damage in. And he's going up the field. So one of the things that I like to do in support is try to put somebody in front of him. So I put Tantrum up there to not allow him not to have take as much damage. And I also like to keep someone around like Cutthroat so that he's not taking damage as fast. As you can see in this particular case, because of Chromia, he's already out of it. But that's what I say, you have to manage his health. And then in this particular case, I didn't manage his health that well, and so it took him out. So, but luckily I got a pretty good supporting cast here that'll be able to take care of the rest of take care of business with the rest of the base. And I also put that Caliburst that I was talking about. I put Caliburst on Shattered Glass Thundercracker for when I did have that acid damage, so that was helpful for a little bit until the health concerns, and that is a big concern that Ramhorn loses a lot of health. But it really depends on how you want to use him. Do you want to use him for the wall busting? Do you want to use him to try to keep him healthy and use the cores that I said to try to keep him healthy? You know, you got a couple of different options here, and so it's just one of those things you have to consider when you're trying to build your loadout for this particular bot. But yeah, overall, I like the bot. He's usable, and it's definitely one of those ones that if you're limited on options, that you can go ahead and use and get a lot of, and you can use them situationally. If you're struggling, you're having a hard time with walls, you can throw a wall buster core on them. I mean, the expectation is going to be that he's going to die sooner rather than later, but it is an option that you have. So, but all right, guys. Well, thanks for taking a look at my video. I'm going to go ahead and get out of here. I got a couple other things I want to do today before the end of the day. But check me out. I think I will be on this week. It's probably gonna be Thursday. And so I usually try to do Wednesday or Thursday. I'll put all the information out for my next show on my Discord. I'm not sure what the topic is going to be yet. I got a couple of ideas rolling around. But I'm not going to put all that information out here right now anyway. But yeah, man, like I honestly, I'm really thankful for everybody. I say my Shattered Glass Thundercracker video, and I know a lot of it's anticipation for the leaderboard event. I had over 110 views for that one right now, which is my most ever. So I'm really happy about that, and I'm really happy that, you know, just to get to talk to so many players about it. It's a really, really fun time this weekend getting to talk to players about that. So if you hadn't seen it, go ahead and take a look at it and just tell me what you think. Tell me what you think about any of the videos, man. You know, I'm always willing to take feedback, criticism, and anything I can do to make the content better, because I try to put out stuff that you guys want to see. But other than that, I'll see you guys on most likely Thursday, and until then, keep grinding out there on the battlefield, and I'll see you out there. Freezius out.